Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Hicks, and I'm on the HubSpot Academy team. Welcome to the workshop. We're going to talk, as you can see on the screen here, let me pull up our agenda. What we're going to talk about today is lead flows. So hopefully you have had a chance to register for a HubSpot marketing free account. Now, I know that there are a few of you out there that already have a HubSpot account. So maybe you are already a customer of HubSpot. If that's the case, you have the ability to use lead flows too. That can be found just under contacts. It's right there in the menu bar. So this is still applicable to you as well. Here's our agenda for today. First, we're going to start out with an introduction of why pop-up lead flows work and really figure out what those are. Next, we're going to hear of a wild success story from Voice of Hair. I have Brandolyn Green with us today. And then we're going to set up lead flows. It's going to be so quick, but you're going to be able to do this step by step with us live today. Everyone that's on the webinar, we're going to be able to do this together. And lastly, we have some time set aside for your questions and answers. So if you have anything that you want to ask, that'll be the time to chime in. Now, if you are on Twitter, feel free to go ahead and share while we're going through our presentation. We have a number of people that are monitoring Twitter, and you're welcome to chime in there. Okay, so let's get started with our introduction as to why pop-up lead flows work. Hopefully you're ready. So why do pop-up lead flows work? So first of all, with pop-up lead flows, we're going to talk about the inbound methodology. For those of you that are on this webinar, hopefully you've seen this before. If you haven't, that's okay. The inbound methodology is a way in which we start with strangers, people that we don't know anything about, and move them all the way through the journey from becoming a visitor to our website and looking at our content, converting them into a lead, and eventually closing them as customers. And lastly, creating promoters of our brand. Now, we're going to hear from Brandolyn Green a little bit later, and she has plenty of promoters of her brand, but this is the entire inbound methodology. And really what we're focusing in on today with lead flows is the convert stage. So the way in which you convert visitors into leads. Now, lead flows can be used in a lot of different ways. They can help you promote your social channels. You can grow your email lists and blog subscribers. You can make sure that e-commerce visitors don't leave empty-handed if they aren't ready to buy, if that's applicable to you, if you're in an e-commerce space. And lastly, you can promote event registration for an upcoming trade show or really any live event that you have. So these are just some of the ways that you can use lead flows to help your business and generate leads. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is a lead flow? If you haven't had a chance to jump into the tools and take a look yet, a lead flow generates leads through a simple pop-up conversion experience. So really quickly, what happens is your visitors will see a call out, so this button or banner that will pop up. And if they click on the call out in this example, in order to get an ebook, if they click on the call out, they'll be taken to a form where they will fill out their information. And lastly, they'll see a thank you message and get that offer from you. So this is how lead flows work. It's a really quick process. Now, the lead flows come in a variety of ways. First of all, you have a pop-up box. So the lead flow will pop up, drop down, or slide in from the left or the right side. So keep those actions in mind as we go through today. These are all of the ways that your lead flows can draw attention. And most importantly, lead flows really work. You are going to see 7 times higher conversion rates for content offers when they are presented through a lead flow. So that's why lead flows are really working. We just found this out in the past couple of months, but people are seeing great success in using lead flows. But you don't have to take my word for it. We have Brandolyn Green on the call here. Hi, Brandolyn. Let me pull up your information here. So, Brandolyn, you are the founder of Voice of Hair. And you've been using lead flows, and we want to hear all about you today. So we're pulling up Brandolyn Green on the screen in just a second here. Hi, Brandolyn.
Hi, Catherine. Or Angela, sorry.
No problem. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, you founded the Voice of Hair, but tell us a little bit about Voice of Hair. What is your company and why did you start it?
Okay, so Voice of Hair is a platform that helps women of color find the best hairstyles and hairstylists. And I founded it in 2014. Actually, I have a background in engineering, industrial engineering, and then I actually studied and got my MBA and was working in brand management for, I worked at P&G and I also worked at Conagra Foods, and I had what I thought was my dream job after business school. And when I got in that position, I realized it really wasn't what I thought. And so I decided to move to Austin, Texas. My husband was living here at the time, and I decided to join him. And when I got here, I couldn't find a position that I felt like I was excited about. And so I remembered that I still had this passion for hair. And actually, I've lived in 8 states and also in Sweden while working throughout my career. And I always had a problem finding somebody who I could trust to style my hair. And women of color have, very textured hair. So kinky, curly, coily hair. And so I couldn't just go to anyone to get it done the way I want it. And so I decided to start Voice of Hair by highlighting different stylists that I could find on social media. So I started with Instagram in 2014, and I, just started to highlight them. And within 1 year, I had over 100,000 followers on Instagram. And so I said, okay, I better hurry up and go create a website. And so that's actually how I started the website. It was after I had this social presence.
Wow. So,
kind of what it is.
Brandolyn, you mentioned your social media followers. Now, for those of you that haven't gone to voiceofhair.com just yet, you're going to find out that Voice of Hair actually has over 300,000 Instagram followers, and you have similar numbers on Facebook, over 250,000 followers on Facebook, actually. But Brandolyn, what do you think? Why are you so successful? How much content do you put out there?
So on Facebook and Instagram, I'm posting a little bit more regularly. Facebook, probably about between 4 to 6 times a day. I used to post 9 times a day when I first started, but that is very time consuming, and I wasn't using any automation tools, so that was sucking up a lot of time. So now I have a 7-month-old baby, and I don't have time to post like that. So I actually post probably about 4 to 6 times a day, and I realized when to post during key times. And so on Facebook, I post a little bit around the same. But for my website, I do try to put out a new piece of content almost every day.
Wow. So, Brandolyn, I have to ask, what's the one piece of advice you would give to someone that's trying to start a company and they're just getting started with creating content? How does someone do that? What's the one thing you would tell them?
So I think it's really important to understand your audience and know what they consider to be valuable. So for me, because I started with social media, I almost already had my ear to the ground, and I knew that my audience was really interested in hair inspiration and finding a stylist. So I tried to put together a lead magnet or a free downloadable gift when they came to my site that incorporated that. So it's kind of like a guide that helps them find styles. And that's been really successful, and people seem to really like it. And it didn't cost me anything to make, and it didn't take a lot of time either. So I would say really listen to your audience. If you don't have one, you could always put out a survey, or getting on social media and literally putting up a post and asking people what they think or what they want, and then creating something around that.
Excellent. Now, Brandolyn, you mentioned your website. You have been using lead flows for a while. So let's take a look at your website. We're going to see just how successful your lead flow has been. I'm really interested to find out more about this. Now, you set up lead flows on your website. Is that right?
Yes.
And I believe you had said that it had been up for about a year. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm on voiceofhair.com, and when I scroll down, we do have an offer that comes up here. I can get this free ebook. Now, Brandon, tell me, how long did it take for you to put this together? Not writing the ebook, but just building the lead flow itself.
It was so short. I think it probably took me maybe like 10 minutes. It was so short that I don't even remember doing it. So
Okay.
it wasn't hard at all.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. So this is your lead flow, and I actually have this up here, Brandon. I want everyone to see how successful this has been. Now, your lead flow that you have received, hundreds of thousands of views. Of course, that's because you get a lot of traffic to your website, but your conversion rate is really high. 3% is very high considering how many views you've had. But right here, you'll notice you've gathered 18,408 contacts. So you have generated a ton of leads.
Yes.
I really appreciate you sharing this with us. I will say you're one of the most successful people I've seen with this lead generation. So on your website, making sure that people aren't leaving empty-handed. It looks like, as you all can see now, this has been really effective. So Brandon, I have to ask, do you think you're going to build more lead flows and maybe change it up across your website? What's your next step?
Yeah, actually, so I think that it's great to have, all these contacts, but everyone doesn't have the same interest. And what I am now working towards is trying to segment my list. So I plan to put out some more free guides or other offers that are really short, just to figure out who's interested in what. Because right now I just know that I have over 18,000 people who are interested in hairstyles, but I don't know if they're hairstylists or if they're just hair enthusiasts who, like me, just are interested in hair. And so I think that's my next step.
Great. Well, that's really exciting. I want to wish you the best of luck with your business. And for those of you that are interested, of course, you're welcome to go visit voiceofhair.com and even see how that lead flow works. What we're going to do now is actually set this up ourselves. So you're going to see just how easy it is to build a lead flow. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give everyone on the call a few moments here. Go ahead and log in to HubSpot, and you're going to head to lead flows. I'm logged into lead flows and ready to go. Once again, if you are a HubSpot customer, you'll want to, in your top navigation, go to contacts and lead flows. You're welcome to follow along. Otherwise, I'm just going to walk us through how to set up a lead flow very quickly. So again, I'm going to give you guys just 10 more seconds here. 5 more seconds, and we're going to get started in building a lead flow. I hope you're ready. Okay, it's time to build a lead flow. When you log in, if you're not seeing lead flows on your screen, you might need to click on lead flows at the very top up here. So go ahead and click on lead flows, the second item in your navigation. And here you are. What we're going to do is build a lead flow. So on the right, click on Create Lead Flow. And now we have options of what we need to do. So we get a nice little welcome message. If you haven't made a lead flow before, tells us the 3 things we're going to build. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is choose a lead flow type. So with our lead flow, we have 4 options on the left. We have a pop-up box, a drop-down banner. You can click on these things to see a preview. We have slide-in boxes. And I'll tell you, the example that we saw, Brandon's great lead flow is actually a pop-up box. Thanks for sharing that with us. But what I'm going to show you how to build is a drop-down banner. So I'm going to pick drop-down banner. And it gives me a nice little preview. I can see what this looks like. And now we're ready to go forward. So I'm going to click Next. And now it's asking me what this is going to say. So I'm trying to get more subscribers for my blog. Just started a blog on this website, so copyxdesign.com. It's just getting started. So we're going to try to generate more blog subscribers. So rather than sign up for email updates, I'm going to change this up. And it's even pulled in some of my existing site colors. Just kind of did this automatically for me, which is really cool. And so this is going to be my theme color just to grab some attention. I can also change the call out button text. I'm going to put an exclamation point, make this a little more excited here. But now I have the call out for my drop down banner. We're going to move forward, clicking next in the upper right corner to head over to the form. So now it's asking me what's going to go on my form. If I wanted to add an image, I could do that. But the form body is a message, so you can type in a message there and upload a file if you really want to have an image. And then it's just asking for what fields I want to include. So I want to definitely ask for email, but I can also add another form field. So maybe I also want to ask for first name as an example. And this looks pretty good, but I want to put first name first. So I can drag that up above. And you can see in the preview, it updates right away. So now we have first name and email so people can get signed up and subscribe. We'll be consistent and keep that exclamation point on our subscribe now. And lastly, on this left side, I have the ability of changing the language. So it's set to English by default. I'm in the US, but if you needed to have another language, that's available to you as well. So now the form is set up. Let's keep moving forward. We'll click on next and head over to the thank you message. So this is what happens after someone fills out and says, yes, I want to subscribe to your blog. What are they going to see here? So I don't have a message, an ebook that I'm putting in their hands. It really is just a thank you message. So I can change this message up if I want to. I can get rid of my dictionary because I'm pretty sure I know how to spell what I'm typing here. And say thanks for signing up. And since we have the tools at the bottom here, I'm also going to just try highlighting. I'm going to make the word thanks bold just so it stands out a little bit more. You have plenty of tools. These are probably looking familiar. You have underline. You can add a bulleted list. You can add a hyperlink, but plenty of tools here in the thank you message. Now that we're done with our thank you message, we'll keep going through our lead flows wizard that's walking us through. And it's telling us here that follow-up emails are coming soon. This is a new feature. It's just being explained that we're going to have emails. So after someone signs up for my blog, they're going to be able to get an email from me right away. So this is coming soon. We'll just go ahead and go through the wizard. Now we have plenty of options here. We're going to go through this entire section. Now, if you're following along in your own account, then you can feel free to jump around on this lead flows options page. But the lead flow name is really just for your organization internally. So I'm going to change this to blog subscribers so I know what it is. All right, there's my lead flow name. Again, no one's going to see this. This is just for me and my team to organize. All right, so then if I wanted to remove the HubSpot branding and upgrade, welcome to do that. Next, we have the lead flow location. So I could put this lead flow on all of my pages, or I could say, you know, I just want it on my pages on copyxdesign.com/blog. So just the blog pages if I choose. But instead, I think I'm actually just going to put this on all pages. So no matter what page a person's on my website, they're going to see the lead flow on each and every page. Now we're getting into the fun part of lead flows. when this drop-down banner shows up, is it going to show up after someone has scrolled through 50% of the page, like what we saw on voiceofhair.com? Or will it show after a certain amount of time? So the minimum here is 7 seconds. I could have my lead flow show after someone has been on a page for 30 seconds, or even a whole minute if I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and check on 50% page scroll, and let's be sure that they've already been on the page for 7 seconds. They've had a chance to read some of the content. And we'll keep going through our options. We also have the ability of turning off lead flows on small screen sizes. So what this means is on mobile devices, rather than having that drop-down banner show, we can turn this off just so we have a better experience here. Next, we can send email notifications. So this is sending email notifications to those that are on your team. So if someone needs to send an email to find out, yes, we have a new blog subscriber, you can leave that turned on and get that set up. And it's telling us at the bottom that we just need to enable a few more settings in order to get those email notifications set up. But that's all for the lead flows options. I'm going to hit next. We're going to go to our next section. And so here's the preview. You can see this is right on the website. We have the call out, the form, and the thank you message. This is how it looks on desktop, on a tablet device. So we have a preview. And if you're ready, we can go ahead and publish this. If you're not ready to publish, that's okay. I'm going to publish this though. And it's warning me this is about to go live on the website. So I'm going to set it live. And now we have this set up. Now the reason why this is live, I already installed the tracking code in my settings for lead flows. So if you haven't done that yet, you will need to do that. But otherwise, this is actually live on my website right now. So that's how easy it is to set up lead flows. What I want to do now is actually see if there are any questions. So I'm going to pull up your information and see what's going on, how you were able to do with building a lead flow. And of course, if you have questions for me or for Brandolyn, this is the time for us to just chat about what you've seen so far. So give me just a second. We are getting our questions. They're coming in now. Okay, so we have our first question here. They are interested in guidance on when to use more than one lead flow on the same site. So you just saw that you do have the ability of using more than one lead flow. You just set up your different page URLs, but it's recommended to think through who needs to get to what information. So as an example, you could have one for your blog subscribers, put that on your blog. Maybe you have one if you have a new product or service, maybe that goes on your homepage. If you're advertising an event, maybe that's on your About Us page. You could also put that on the homepage, but you can actually have more than one lead flow on the same page. And it's recommended to use different types of lead flows if you do that. So that's a great question that we had. Thank you for sharing that. Again, that question was shared just by using the hashtag HubSpot workshop. So if anyone wants to get their questions in on Twitter, the hashtag is HubSpot workshop. All right, so our next question that we have, are there any plans for advanced analytics? So As you might remember, we took a look at the analytics for Voice of Hair, and we did see a conversion rate. So let me pull that up again, just so we can see that one more time. So we do have a conversion rate listed here, and this doesn't break down by page. So this particular lead flow is across all of the website pages. So no matter where you are on voiceofhair.com, this will show up. And at this point, there isn't a breakout, I guess, of page by page. So we're not really able to see which contacts converted on which page as of yet, but that's a great idea. I'm definitely going to pass that along to our team. For those of you that are familiar with the history of lead flows, you probably know that this was released very late last year, towards the end of November 2016. So this is still a very new tool for us, and we are constantly working on updating, just like the follow-up emails that you saw coming soon. So great idea on advanced analytics. The next question that we have are, how do you send out automated emails once someone has subscribed? Now, you have a couple of options when it comes to automated emails. With your settings, you have the ability of connecting with MailChimp. Let me jump over, and I'm just going to give you a quick little tour here. So my email sync, I do have the ability of selecting MailChimp, Campaign Monitor, Aweber, or Constant Contact. Now, I know some of you are using HubSpot as your email provider, and if that's the case, there's nothing more to configure. That's already set up for you automatically. But otherwise, you select your email provider, and as an example, if you pick Campaign Monitor, I visit your website and fill out that blog subscription message, and then my contact moves over to Campaign Monitor, and you'll be able to power your emails through Campaign Monitor or your email provider of choice. So that's how automated emails work. Next, oh, I love this question. I'm not sure exactly who asked this question in this list that I received, but the question is, what are typical conversion rates? This is such a good question because there is not a good answer. No matter what kinds of conversions we're talking about, whether it's lead flows, a static CTA that's on your website, just a button that's there, there isn't really a conversion rate that you're looking for just across the board that will be perfect for everyone. I'm going to jump back over to Voice of Hair so we can see this conversion rate is 3%. It has generated 18,000 contacts. So this is something to keep in mind, right? 3% seems like a pretty low number, but 18,000 contacts have been gathered. So a lot of people are seeing this since it shows up on every page. But rather than focusing on the conversion rate, what I would recommend is setting up a goal for how many contacts you want to gather. That's really how I would recommend approaching conversion rates when it comes to your lead flows. Our next question, do I need to know how to code to customize my lead flow? So hopefully you were able to see the walkthrough that we just did with lead flows. There's no coding required. That's a great question. Now, with the tracking code, in order to get this on your website, you do need someone that has website admin access. So if you are someone that was able to set up a tracking code, like a HubSpot tracking code or a Google Analytics tracking code, then you have the right permissions to get the tracking code set up for lead flows. We have another question here. Now, are ebooks on the way out or still relevant to customers today? What I want to do now, I want to kick this question over to Brandolyn because I know that she has a very successful ebook. So Brandolyn, I want to see what you think. Our question once again was, are ebooks on the way out? How do you feel about ebooks here?
I think you can call it an ebook, you can call it a free guide, but it's essentially a free gift. It's something of value that they don't have to pay for, and essentially they're exchanging their email for this free gift. So I personally think it's still successful. I think that if I actually was selling this ebook on my site, I would be making money off of it. So I think that at the end of the day, though, you have to know your audience. For my target audience, I know that they love looking at images. And so I tried to create something that was rich and full of beautiful imagery. And that seems to be successful. And so that's what I'll continue to use even in my other guides.
Thanks for sharing that, Brandolyn. You know, I was thinking as you were talking about images in an ebook, it seems like you might be able to reuse some of the content. So you spend, days and weeks working on getting images up on Instagram. And how nice would it be to put all of that together in an ebook so someone can download it and take it away? That's a really great idea. Thanks for answering that. Okay, so our next question, we're kind of shifting back here to lead flows. So Brandolyn, I'm going to handle this one. Our blog is hosted in HubSpot, this person asked, but our main website is not. So can I still do lead flows even though our website isn't hosted on HubSpot? The answer is yes, absolutely. I'll tell you, voiceofhair.com is hosted outside of HubSpot. It's really easy to set up lead flows on different platforms. So that is definitely something that you can do. Okay, so now we have a question about getting the lead flow tracking code. So your lead flow tracking code, when you're logged in here, if you go into your settings, you're going to be able to find that there. If you have, if you are a HubSpot customer, the process is a little different, but it's really just going to be found in settings. Okay, we have another comment here. Very interesting. Can a lead flow guide to the new chat feature? So lead flows, at this time, it's not set up to be a chat. It's not a chat bot right now, but that's an interesting idea. Someone else asks, what's being done to prevent spam? So with these messages, typically with spam these days, that's being done by a program, a bot. Spam is not really happening, our form spam. It's not a person typically that's filling that out. And fortunately, the way that lead flows are built, since it is a pop-up feature, software has a harder time locating the form on the page and spamming that. So we're taking care of the spam issues on the back end, just kind of behind the scenes. So you don't really have anything that you need to do there. Okay, the next question, is it possible to offer a piece of content without requiring a form submission? Now with this question, if you don't require someone to fill out a form, you certainly can give people things without having them fill out a form, but then you are not collecting their information. You have no way of following up with them. It's recommended at the very least to collect an email address, so that way you have a way to contact that lead and get them some more relevant information. Our next question, how do I deliver my download if I use HubSpot for email? So you'll want to build an email in HubSpot, get that set up, and you'll just use a workflow. So once that contact shows up from lead flows, you will send them an email. Okay, the last question that we're seeing here, can you save your progress prior to publishing a lead flow? You sure can. So when I clicked publish on our lead flow, we had the option at the top to save it instead. So you have the ability of doing that. And it's just a matter, sorry about that, folks. It's just a matter of within your lead flow. So you can see this one actually isn't active. It's not published. I'm going to jump in here. You're welcome to make changes and not have this published yet. So I can say, you know, I'm not quite ready. I can save my information for later. So as I work on things, if I made a change here, I can just go back to lead flows or exit out. I could go over to the dashboard or work on some other things. It just saves your progress right away. On a related note, I can also turn off my lead flow just with this active switch. I can turn it on and off if I need to. We have had another question come in. So it looks like Voice of Hair has a custom designed pop-up. So how do I add a custom design to my lead flow? I'm going to answer the first part of this question. Getting the file set up, it's really just a matter of putting the file in. So with your call out, if you wanted to add an image, it's just right there. But Brandolyn, can you tell us a little bit more about how you went about designing that?
Sure. So because I was giving away a free ebook, I had a cover designed really cheaply. I used Fiverr, for example, to have somebody design the cover. And I took that image, and that is the actual image that you see in the call out for the pop-up. And when the subscriber, since I'm not using HubSpot for my email, when the subscriber clicks on that and they put in their information, I have an email automation set up with my email provider that will send them a thank you notice for signing up, and then it sends them a link to download. In that link, I actually have, it's hosted. It's going to where the ebook is hosted, and then they can download it right there.
Wow. So you outsourced the work. You're not not necessarily a designer by trade, but you got someone else to design that that little button for you.
Yes. I just wanted it to be pretty because that's what my audience expects.
Well, I think that's great. You know, if you are not a designer by trade, there's certainly no reason to spend a lot of time and effort creating these things. But I will say, if you do want to give it a try, you might want to take a look at canva.com. That's some free software that I recommend that allows you to build these files. It's drag and drop, so you might be able to put together a button that looks nice. But right here within our form, it's just a matter of selecting a file. So after I build that pretty looking button in Canva and save the file on my computer, it's just looking for a standard image file. So a JPEG or a PNG. You're just going to add the file here. Okay, we're going to shift gears again. Someone's asked, where does the lead go in HubSpot? So just like any other leads that you're collecting in HubSpot, it's going to end up in your contacts database. So you're going to see where they came from, you know, that they filled out that lead flow, but it's just going to integrate with all of your contacts in HubSpot, no matter where they came from. Excellent. So it looks like those are all of the questions that we have about this process. I want to thank everyone for tuning in with us today. And Brandolyn, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us again one more thing with Voice of Hair. What can we expect from you soon? What am I going to see on Instagram? What's coming from you soon? Can you give us a sneak peek?
Sure. We're going to be doing some events, some more events, and we're going to also be doing some more Instagram lives to let our audience connect with us. And then, of course, if people have questions, I also have an Instagram course that I help people to grow their Instagram accounts if they're looking to use that channel as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.